Well, this week is Holocaust Remembrance Week, a week dedicated to remembering the millions murdered by Adolf Hitler's SS officers. Well, right here in Florida lives a man who brought those men to justice, and he is the last living prosecutor of the Nuremberg Trials.
And Fox 13's Jennifer Holton introduces us to our living link to the greatest murder trial in history.
Ben Ferenz will be the first to tell you if your choice in World War II literature is subpar.
Well, this is not a particularly good book.
He would know because he lived it.
These are the defendants in the international military trial, Goering and company, and so on.
That trial was Nuremberg. The defendants were Nazis, and Ferenz was one of the prosecutors.
I was 27. I'd never tried a case. I had never been in a courtroom.
Now 99, he's the last living prosecutor from the Nuremberg trials.
The case we present is a plea of humanity to law.
But to understand how a 27-year-old New Yorker wound up prosecuting history's biggest murder trial, you have to start here, 1941, at Harvard University.
I applied to the Harvard Law School because I felt, because of my short height, that I had to be better than anybody else. And I was told that Harvard was the best law school in the world. I didn't know any lawyers. I didn't know anyone who'd ever been to college.
Ferenz wanted to join the war effort, but it was a struggle.
Whatever it was, wherever I went, there was some excuse why they didn't want to take me. However, my dear mother said, go back to school. If they need you, they'll call you.
The Army took him after graduation, and he served in the 115th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Battalion. His first assignment, D-Day.
It was very much a very grueling scene because there were a lot of dead bodies floating face down in the water with American uniforms.
He served in Patton's Third Army, but as the war was winding down, his greatest assignment was just beginning.
I was taken out of the artillery. I reported to the judge advocate, and he said, we've been given orders from Washington to set up a war crimes branch. The President of the United States has met with Churchill and so on, and they agreed that the Germans would be held to account, and your name has been forwarded to us from Washington.
It was his former Harvard professor, Sheldon Glueck, who remembered Ferenz from a war crimes class.
Did you know what you were getting into?
I had a pretty good idea of what I was getting into because as a student at Harvard, Glueck was getting reports from Europe of atrocities which were being committed. And there were refugee lawyers who had fled to London and set up a group for war crime studies, and they were sending reports in. And the reports were quite gruesome. Coming into the camps was quite a different story. They were dying, they were dead. You couldn't tell if they were dead or alive.
His quest for justice was just beginning.
My job was get in, get the evidence, get the hell out of there.
Ferenz traveled from one concentration camp to another where he found meticulous files detailing the Nazis' atrocities. Tomorrow night, you're going to hear his firsthand account of what it was like going in as the Allies were liberating the camps. And here's a sneak peek.
There was the chaos of war. The SS were fleeing, running out of the camp. The Americans were shooting after them and chasing after them. Those inmates who were still able to get up were chasing after the guards who were there.
Well, and one of those SS guards was tackled by a group of inmates in one of the most gruesome memories Ferenz remembers. That's tomorrow when our series on the last living Nuremberg lawyer continues. We'll be right back.